Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Pike Show. Today, we're going to be talking about working smarter, not harder. And actually, on this episode, I'm taking some of my own advice and putting it to use. So, I'm doing a dual recording for my podcast, but I'm also going to be putting this video on YouTube as well. So, let's jump into it. So, working smarter, not working harder. So, the reason I wanted to talk about this is because just for me, starting out, or even like you'll hear a lot of people here, put in more work, you're not working harder, hustle harder, do more, which is good advice, I think, but it's bad advice if you're not working harder or smarter in the right direction. So what I mean by that, if you're not focusing on the right things to help move you forward, then you're just working hard and you're not really moving or progressing smarter. So take it for example, I'm not saying like all physical labor jobs are like this, but I know I've had certain jobs in my career where there was a certain amount of tasks and you had a team and everyone did the same exact thing. And you get tasks into your queue, you knock them out, and then all of a sudden you get more. And I started to realize like that it didn't matter how hard I worked or how much effort I was putting into their certain tasks or their certain queues. It wasn't making a difference. It wasn't getting me recognized more. It wasn't increasing my revenue. It wasn't changing my life. I was just simply doing more work than the other people around me. There was a certain quota that had to be hit. While everyone around me was just hitting that quota, I was just doubling and tripling it and not really getting recognized for it, but I was doing more work. So it wasn't, that I was good at solving the problem, getting the situation handled a lot quicker. Like I wasn't being recognized for that. So I know in today's like a lot of not just physical labor, but any type of job. Just job I was doing wasn't even physical labor. It was more of a call center type job where you took a certain amount of calls and you had to take a certain amount and handle them within a certain amount of time. It just ended up getting me more calls that I took as my colleagues around me just reached the quota, and that was fine. I know some jobs will reward you if you do this, but some jobs won't. So that's why I think it's important to not only work hard, but work smart and focus on the right things. So I know, for example, with me, like in my business, like I own the business. I am the owner. I'm the CEO. I'm the founder. So I know a lot of it, like me, again, like the more I put into my business, the more I get out of it. But again, I still have to focus on doing the right things in order to get more out of my business. So I have to focus on the things that I'm really good at, the things that's going to help move the business forward, put all my efforts into that, like me doing these podcasts and me doing these YouTube videos. This is helping me spread the message. I have to do this because I'm the voice, I'm the brand of the company. So I have to put myself out there to help spread the message, to help bring people into, my tribe and, get people more focused on what I do. So I constantly have to do that. But I also, at certain points, like I do the audio editing for the podcast. I do the video editing. I create the thumbnail. I do the descriptions. Like those things I don't have to do because I can do them, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm the best person to do them. So that's where it comes to like I'm still putting effort towards the right thing, but certain tasks that's involved with this that will allow me to stay in my zone of genius or my zone of doing the right things is I can outsource those things. So now I have a designer that helps me do the thumbnails, which he does a much better job and a much quicker job than me. I also have someone that helps me with the description, someone that helps me with the uploading, and someone that helps me with editing the podcast or the video sometimes, because again, like that's time that I'm putting into it, but it's actually giving me time back to help do more of these when I'm not having to edit or, do every single process or every single step along the process. Like I've done it starting out. And I'm saying, if you're starting out, then I highly suggest like don't spend the extra money to do it. Like you have to do it. But I did it for a while and I got to a point where I learned it. I know it. I can do it. I understand the process. So I documented it really well. And now when I need some help, I simply just go to the documentation or the video tutorial of me doing it, and I show someone else how to do it, and they can do it a lot better than me. Another thing that I want to talk about in this podcast or this video is doing the work. Like when I talked about earlier, it's like me putting out these videos, me putting out these podcasts. Like you have to actually do the work and put the time in. So it's not going to come, success isn't going to come overnight. Business isn't going to come overnight. Reaching your goals isn't going to come overnight. Like you have to put the work in and you have to be consistent. Like if you're going to show up for your audience or you're going to show up for your clients, like you have to do that on a consistent basis. And then, as long as you continue to do the work, and then you'll start seeing rewards for those work. So even me in my current business, what I do, I'm a technical consultant and automation guy. So I literally make jobs a lot easier for my clients. But I've had several years and years of experience with doing this. And this is what allowed me to be able to go off and start my own thing because I've put the work in. So now I know, and my clients know like that, hey, if you want this done right or you want it done good, then hire me to do it. And I've done it so well that now like I get to the point now where I get clients, I get referrals. Most of my referrals or my new clients come from referrals of past or current clients because I put the work in. I did the work to get there. I'm known in my area of expertise for helping people grow and help make systems and automate things a lot easier. And that's, like I said, like that's consistent work. So whether you're starting a YouTube channel, whether you're starting a podcast, whether you're wanting to pay off your debt, like be consistent with it. Like if you're going to do a budget, you have to be consistent with a budget. And I'm not saying like it has to be perfect or you're not going to fall off, but you have to be consistent with doing that if you want to reach a certain goal. Same thing if you're starting a YouTube channel, like it's not going to be like most people think, oh, I'm going to start a YouTube channel, I'm going to get views, I'm going to get likes. All of a sudden, believe it or not, that's not how it's going to start. I mean, you're going to start out with just you and, maybe a family member or a significant other or a friend that just watches it. And over time, if you continue to put out value and continue to put out that message, then you will get other people to come in and that will continue to grow. But I can tell you from seeing it firsthand, from helping other entrepreneurs and, being in this space and being on YouTube for, a little bit over a year and a half, like it takes time to build up an audience. I remember when I first started the videos, like I think I have like 1,300, which isn't a lot of subscribers on YouTube, but I started at zero. Like no one knew who I was and I consistently put out content. And now I'm doing the same thing with the podcast. Like it's starting to grow and grow, and I can see that month over month with me consistently putting out content and me consistently putting that value and showing up for my audience. That is starting to grow. They're starting to share it. Other people are starting to listen. So consistently doing the work and putting out content. Another thing when you're just getting started or goes along the terms of working smarter, not harder, like perfection. So when you're first starting out, don't worry about being perfect. Like I said, like it's only going to be a few viewers. It's only going to be a couple of people that are going to be watching. So if you're starting that blog, you're starting this podcast, starting this YouTube channel, starting a business, like don't worry about being perfect. Worry about actually putting the work in and putting the time to implement and take an action. I think that's what turns a lot of people off or prevents a lot of people from getting started is they're worried about being perfect. And I believe like a lot of us like growing up, like that's kind of the behavior that we're taught like in school. And I was having this conversation with a friend of mine talking about like the difference between, people that are successful and the people as far as like entrepreneurship and the people that, do really well in school, but they struggle in their job and they struggle like trying to be an entrepreneur because they focus so much on having to be perfect. Whereas, certain people have that mindset where they just go do, they're just better implementers. They're better doers. Like a lot of the stuff that you see out here on YouTube or in these courses or trainings, like it's not new information. You can find a lot of the information out here with the power of Google, but the thing is, like, people take the action to put the stuff out, put it in a format to where you can learn it, and it's easy to follow along where you're not having to search and find stuff all over the internet. Like, it's all in one place. They put it in a curriculum where it makes sense, but they don't like, you don't have to worry about it being the perfect, like, as long as you're getting your message across and you're putting that value. It doesn't have to be the perfect blog site, it doesn't have to be the perfect video quality, the perfect audio quality. Like, just start. Like, when I started this podcast, like, I've recently updated the audio on the podcast because I know it's something that I want to continue doing. And with it being a podcast, I know that audio is the main thing, so you want to make sure that the audio is right. But when I first started, I just had a simple USB microphone and I just did it. It had a little echo. It wasn't the worst audio, but it wasn't the best audio. And I even did a few episodes just from my little AirPods from my iPhone. But the thing is, like, I wanted to do it, and I knew if I, waited to get the perfect audio, waited to get it right, like, why go spend all that money and spend all that time on something that, hey, let me try this out. Let me just do it and see if I'm going to like it, and then continue there. Then I can upgrade later down the road if it's something that I want to continue to pursue. So another thing that I want to talk about too, besides perfection, is turning off all of the outside noise. So any distractions or anything that that's going to prevent you from, achieving your goals or working smarter, turn those things off. Like, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to distract you. Like, you may inflict a lot of those things yourself, where you're wanting to try new things, or you get distracted by friends that want you to go here. If you're outside of your budget, they want you to go out. They want you to continue doing the things that left you broke in the first place. You got to tune those things out, whether it's wasting time on social media. Make sure that you're spending, again, not only spending time on the right things, but actually making sure that you're spending time, spending your energy, and you're not being distracted on things that aren't going to help you move forward. So turn off any outside noise or distractions. And again, like, something that I touched on earlier, like, we've been taught this all of our lives to be perfect. Like, you get rewarded for making the best grade in class or having 100%. Like, we've been taught so long to be perfect. You have to achieve perfection, that I think a lot of people, it stops them from moving forward. So my advice to be, just learn how to do, just learn how to implement, learn how to help move forward. The information is out there. If you're willing to put in the time, putting the effort to do it, the information is out there for you to move forward. And don't put all your efforts into things that aren't moving you forward. Like, you don't have to do every single thing. As soon as you can, and you get to the point where you can, outsource or get help to help move things forward, things that you aren't great at, find what you're good at, focus on that, find what brings in the highest revenue or gives you the most momentum, put all your effort towards that, and then get rid of the rest. Give it to someone else. Delegate it elsewhere. Don't focus all your energy on that. So to sum it all up, there's basically three things or three steps that I try to live by. And when I'm in my business or just in my life with learning new things. So the first thing is learn. So I always learn something, and I'm always trying to learn something new or something new that's going to help move my business forward. So when I learn it, then I go do it. I do it myself. I implement it, integrate it into my business. And then from there, then I teach it. And I just repeat that same process over and over and over. So I learn, I implement, and then I share and teach it with other people. Well, anyway, that is the wrap up on today's episode. And if you guys enjoy it, like always, please leave a 5-star rating and leave a comment. If you follow me on iTunes, that's where I saw a stat the other day. That's where like 75% or maybe 80% of the people listen to podcasts at. So I usually push it there. I'm also on Spotify, and I'm also on Stitcher and Google Play as well, if you want to listen on those platforms. But please go leave me a review, share it. Also, if you want to continue the discussion, I started a Facebook group. We're almost up to like 200 or several hundred people in the group. It's called Living My Best Life. Go search it on Facebook, join the group, and I will see you all on the next episode. Have a good one.